And continuing our focus, looking ahead of the elections, Seyi Oduntan joins us now. He was a former aspirant for Senate in Ogun East, is now the vice chairman in media and publicity for Senator Ibikunle Amsoun campaign organization. He's a member of the APC. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good to see you again.
Tell us about your party's optimism ahead of these elections now.
Well, at this point in time, we are, as I said before, cautiously optimistic. We believe that our people's minds are made up. They want change. They have decided that they've had enough of the PDP and that they are looking forward to a change in government across board.
Yeah,
and I think that is something that is good for our country. That is something that is good for our democracy.
But you're still cautious. Why?
Oh, naturally, you can't sleep with both eyes open in politics. One day is like a lifetime in politics. So naturally, we're not going to go out there and be gleeful and say that, oh, it's going to be a walkover. No, we know we have a lot of work to do. We know we still have approximately from today about 5 weeks to campaign before the March 28th election. And anything can happen between now and that time. So, yes, we are cautiously optimistic, but we are still optimistic.
You know, what a lot of Nigerians keep asking the questions. When you say we want to bring, you mentioned change here. How are you going, how is the how there? How is that going to work out?
Change. Let me tell you something that we know we don't want, that Nigerians don't want. First of all, Nigerians don't want to hear that a swathe of territory as big as Belgium has been captured by a ragtag army, and that for the past 5 or 6 years, we have not been able to tackle it. Nigerians are very proud people. They are very patriotic. They want to help this country, and they have found themselves in a situation where a minnow country like Chad, like Niger, has been invited to help us capture territory. Chad and Nigeria combined, their GDP is about $20 billion. The GDP of Nigeria is $520 billion. And I'm quoting from World Bank 2013. And you want me to say that we are proud of what is happening in this government? Let me tell you something we don't want. We want to say to ourselves that the leakages, the drainages, the wastages that are currently occurring in this country must stop. A situation where a minister, for example, is spending 10 billion naira chartering an aircraft in 1 year. We will stop those drainages. Let me tell you something also. Let me assure you that even with oil prices at about, if it falls down to about $50 per barrel, APC will be able to run this government.
And you know what?
Sorry, let me finish.
How?
You know why? That's what I'm telling you.
No, you've just told us what Nigerians don't want to hear.
No, I'm telling you how we are going to do it.
Don't want to see. How are you going to do it?
One of the primary ways we're going to do it, and I've said it, is that we're going to stop the leakages, the drainages, the wastages, and I've given you the examples of what we will not do.
How would you stop the drainages, the leakages? How?
Oh, yeah, you're asking me how we're going to do that. And I'm saying to you quite clearly that this government, look, this government as it is right now has looked mostly at the income side. When we look at the expenditure side as well, we're going to say to ourselves that we're going to cut off a lot of the corruption that is in this administration. Our presidential candidate has a background and the pedigree to say, look, this corruption is going to stop. These wastages are going to stop. And we are going to put together a whole series of plans that's going to ensure that those leakages stop.
Now, let's talk about the elections themselves. I mean, we've seen the debate that went on, you know, when the elections, well, it's still on, when the elections were postponed, and how your party kept on saying that INEC is ready, let INEC carry out its duties. But we found out that many of the states where your party you know, you have governors of your party at the helm of affairs in those states did not have, you know, distribution of PVCs that could said to be okay. For instance, in Ogun State, where you are, just last week, Governor Amsoun was talking about how 60% of voters could be disenfranchised if INEC doesn't do something about it urgently. Yet your party maintained that INEC was ready for the 2015 elections.
Well, we didn't say we were ready.
I mean,
INEC said they were ready.
Yes.
We didn't say we were ready. INEC said they were ready. And the reason that INEC preferred for not being able to proceed was a security issue. They didn't mention PVC. We are not INEC. But yes, we have since found that...
I'm sorry, Otumba, did you say, when you say we, is that your party in Ogun State or generally speaking about your party?
No, what I've said is that INEC said they were ready to proceed.
No, you said we,
But-
didn't say who
But-
were ready.
what-
Which we is that?
What I mean is that the APC, it wasn't the APC that said they were ready.
No, but we listened to, I mean, our state house correspondent, Chukwuma Nokusi, did ask Imo State governor, said, of course, we're ready to go on with the elections.
Absolutely. If INEC said they were ready,
No, but
they
you also said-
they knew the parameters upon which they made those statements. All right. Now we are just saying if INEC says they are ready, we're ready to go with INEC.
Wait.
INEC didn't say it wasn't because of PVC.
So are you saying now that your party was not ready?
No, I'm saying our party was ready at that point in time.
No, but the question
We
will
were
be,
ready to back INEC.
why were you willing to believe INEC, considering the statistics that were available even at the time? The 5 states that did not have, a high level of PVC distributions were mostly states that had APC governors at the helm of affairs.
Well, the only thing I can say is this. The question of PVC has arisen since INEC said they were ready to proceed, but they couldn't proceed because the security concerns. That is where we are. But if INEC is saying now that, well, we could have been helped, yes, the situation could have gotten better. Prior to that time, 1,000 people were picking up voters' cards every day. Now it was 200 every day. So it had dropped dramatically. It meant that we had reached a kind of optimum level since that time. Between the time that the postponement was made and the election period, the postponed election period, which was February 14th, there was a gap of about 10 days.
No,
a lot of voters' cards...
About 7 days.
About 7 days, fair enough. A lot of voters' cards had been picked up within those 7 days. I can assure you of that. Quite a lot were delivered. I'm not saying we have reached...
So that on the election day, about 19 million didn't have voters' cards.
No, that wasn't the figure we had. It was, as at the time the postponement was made,
No,
there were 19
that was about
million.
20 million.
That was about 19 million, I
About
heard.
20 million at the time the election was
That's
postponed.
not what, that's what I had, that there were 19 million. If you say about 20 million, fair enough. A million difference. That really tells you something. What have we got now since that time?
Yeah, but
2-3
the
weeks
question
since
is,
that time.
the
And
case-
voters' cards have been made
The
available.
question is, in Ogun State, your case really seems to be peculiar in the sense that you have about 600,000 voters' cards allegedly do not belong to your state. I think the governor was pretty clear on that, and that the cards for Ogun State have been arriving in batches. Right now, as of last week when the governor complained, it was at 40%. When INEC released that table showing the distribution of PVCs across the different states, Ogun State had the lowest PVC distribution or distributed because of this particular peculiar problem. Did you think really that INEC was ready in spite of that particular problem that you had in your state?
I cannot speak for INEC.
Yes,
I
but
cannot,
from the
what I
figure,
can say.
you cannot
No,
speak
let
for
me
INEC,
speak
but
about.
from
Let me
that
talk
figure
about.
alone, do you think that INEC was ready?
No, I'm going to talk about Ogun. First of all, we had complained consistently that we had not received enough voters' cards. We consistently maintained that. That was the case with us. We also knew at the back of our minds that no election was going to be perfect, whether it's Nigeria or anywhere else. But we're also saying that it was not peculiar. No, I wouldn't agree that it was peculiar to Ogun State. Actually, we found voters' cards that were from other states in various other states, and they were being returned.
But
and
Ogun
so on and
was
so
quite
forth.
unique.
I won't say Ogun was unique.
It still
I'm telling
is.
you. What you're saying is that Ogun's case was particularly bad. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying. Well, fair enough. We will say Ogun's case was particularly bad. But hey, we will, work with the cards that we are dealt with. If tomorrow, if on March 28th, the situation is not perfect.
I retain my word.
Well,
Peculiar.
so
I think that your state has a peculiar case, yes, and I retain that word because 600,000 voter cards that do not belong to a state and what's happening in just one state, that is definitely a peculiar problem. That 1 or 2 boxes are found in Kebbi State that belong to Cross River and are returned, that's okay. I mean, you can say they were mixed up here and there. But 600,000 cards that do not belong to citizens of Ogun State and were sent there, and as at now, you still have it 40% distribution. You don't think your case is peculiar?
I could win elections with those figures.
I have no doubt that you can. I have no doubt that we can. I'm not saying that it's a perfect situation. I want you to understand me. What I am saying, you say it's peculiar. I say it's not unique to Ogun State. Yes, Ogun case could be particularly bad.
Can you mention any other state that has 40%?
I couldn't, if you ask me, because I haven't looked into that. But I could. What I'm saying is this.
I'm saying there is no other state that has 40%.
Well, that's fair enough. That is your position. I'm not going to argue with you on
It's
that.
not your position. It's INEC's position.
Well,
This is based on the figures that
No,
INEC
that
has
is what we have discovered in Ogun State. I don't think we should be arguing about it. If you say it's peculiar, I say fine. But I'm saying it's not unique to this country, to the electoral process, that PVCs in Ogun State have been mishandled. It's been mishandled in many other states. Ogun's case may be particularly awkward and maybe bad. I'm not saying it's a good thing. No, I'm not running away from it. What I am saying is that, yes, it is bad, but yes, if by March 28th the situation is like that, would we say we would not go ahead and vote? Would we postpone the election once again? That's the point I am making.